Shut up.
I just wanted to say hi to that.
Shut up. Face the wall. Turn around. Turn around. What's the movement, sir? Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah. And you weren't really sparring. You were fighting. We were fighting all the time. And just guys getting dropped all the time. And that was just the kind of gym that I was in.
But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
Joe Rogan responded to rumors about Jake Paul being arrested over allegedly orchestrating boxing matches. He emphasized that no achievement is worth endangering your life. Rogan reminded fans that the risks in boxing are very real and shouldn't be taken lightly. According to reports, he believes Paul needs to rethink his choices before stepping back into the ring. Chasing fame or money isn't worth the potential consequences.
You have probably seen some of the controversy he's been taking.
Joe Rogan highlighted just how dangerous boxing can be, warning that reckless behavior in the ring could have serious repercussions. He also cautioned that participating in illegal or staged activities could expose a fighter to legal consequences.
Because then you can't think, you can't do things, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in life. It's like literally everything is the quality of your ability to think. And I knew.
Nikisa Badarian has addressed the rumors surrounding Jake Paul's fight with Anthony Joshua, making it clear that neither Paul nor his team engaged in any wrongdoing or tried to manipulate the outcome. He called claims that the bout was scripted completely false. Some online posts even suggested there was an agreement for Joshua not to knock Paul out. But Nikisa insisted that Joshua fought authentically and decisively, ignoring any such notion to emphasize that Jake trained hard, competed fully, and faced real risks in the ring. Legal action is reportedly being pursued against those spreading these false claims. For Nikisa, setting the record straight is vital to protecting the reputations of both Jake and his team, showing fans and critics that the fight was entirely legitimate and unscripted, and that any suggestion of a fixed result is completely unfounded.
I've seen the script, rigged, this, that, and the other. Do you think now, at the very least, that talk goes away? Broke his jaw, went in there against Anthony Joshua. At the very least, do you think that you guys can move on from that? Like, that won't follow you?
No, I don't. I actually, our lawyers are actively going after a number of people. One who claims to be a lawyer himself online. I don't remember the name or the handle, but it was something that had like 200,000 likes. And basically this post said there was an agreement for AJ not to knock out Jake, but AJ disregarded the agreement and decided to not get his payday, but knock out Jake Paul. So it's pretty astonishing what people say. Your dear friend Lou DiBella, saw him put up a bunch of ridiculous things and even said, Nikisa, go ahead and sue me. But this wasn't a real fight. He was pulling punches. He wasn't giving it his full effort.
And so for the people, again, just to clear this up, because I asked Eddie this question, I'll ask you the exact same question. Once and for all, was there any sort of arrangement as far as it should go this many rounds? Because that's the one that I've heard. Oh, Anthony agreed to 3 rounds, 4 rounds. Can you tell us in black and white if there were any talks of any kind between the network, the promotion, the fighter?
There has never once in Jake Paul's career been any talk of that sort, of anything to do with the fight being anything but a real fight that has exactly the same situation as any professional fight. And that's exactly the same thing here for the Anthony Joshua fight. It's just beyond mind-blowing that people would think that. Anthony Joshua was on record saying that if he didn't finish him in the first round, that would be disappointing, that it would be a failure. The narrative changed as we got closer to fight night and obviously post-fight, and I understand why, but they were pretty adamant it would take max 2 rounds.
Joe Rogan has already advised Jake Paul to avoid reckless behavior in the future. He urged him to think carefully before taking high-risk fights, reminding him that no achievement is worth putting his life in danger. Rogan highlighted the real risks of the ring and warned that chasing fame or money through staged or unsafe bouts could have serious consequences. For any fighter, safety and responsibility must always come first.
Look at all them celebrities like dude from the Mighty Ducks, the little boy actor that got strung out on drugs. And all his fronts and all his teeth were missing from being on meth or whatever, whatever drug of choice he was on. There's no coming back from that. The people who dissipate their teeth through drug usage, you don't get like a second set. So if I'm not mistaken, the dude from Mighty Ducks, somebody like he's been clean and they gave him a makeover and he has like pretty much fake teeth. So yeah, the teeth are going to be cooked. Now, I agree with the other part that Rogan was saying, but let's keep going.
I think he went into that fight knowing that was probably going to happen.
Yeah.
And ultimately, the big win for him would be that he was even willing to do it and that he could do well for a little bit.
Yeah, and I've already expressed my thoughts on this. I'm not giving no props for a person who says I am a real deal boxer because I went in and get smashed and got my jaw broken, but I lasted longer than Ngannou. But I was crazy enough to try, because to be honest, we're way past the honeymoon stage with a person like Jake Paul. You've been in this for long enough to go through fight camps, dedicate your time, effort, energy, money, spar with people. You spar with some quality names because you have resources and money or whatever. So we're well past that, to the point where you just get credit for stepping in. You maybe got credit your first fight or whatever, first couple of fights, for coming from your background and, you know, stepping in and fighting. But we're well past that. You have a box rec. You were being ranked by sanctioning bodies in box.
Eddie Hearn offered an in-depth look at the Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, emphasizing the strategy behind every move in the ring. He noted that the bout unfolded according to a carefully crafted plan, with Joshua's team focusing on patience and controlled aggression rather than reckless power shots. The goal was to systematically test Paul, expose vulnerabilities, and wear down his stamina before delivering decisive blows. Hearn highlighted that this methodical approach is what defines professional boxing, where timing, discipline, and tactical execution often matter more than raw strength. Every stage of the fight was managed to maintain control while gradually asserting dominance, showing how strategic thinking can outweigh brute force. According to Hearn, this strategy not only secured victory, but also underscored boxing as an art of precision and calculated decision-making, distinguishing experienced fighters from amateurs.
He said before the fight, I'm going to break him down and then I'm going to knock him out. And that's exactly what he did. I thought it'd be all over within 3 rounds. But, you know, when I got in the ring after, because I was shouting, just, you know, anywhere, arms. I got in, he went, what are you rushing me for? And I was like, oh, sorry. So, but like, obviously he knows what he's doing. And actually now quite pleased that we got the rounds, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you said that. Really random, I was on Twitter and I saw Jake Paul's mum said she wants to get in the ring and punch you. She said she doesn't like the smug look on your face. She is promoting her book, so I'm not sure if she wants, you know. But did you see that? What did you think of that?
No, I was very sad because I couldn't have been nicer and more respectful of Jake and what he's done. And I think Logan's amazing. I think he's an incredible athlete. And I shook Jake Paul's dad's hand in the ring, you know. And if I would have seen Mum, I would have said, all right. But I think over the years, we've obviously had our beef, and she probably don't like me anyway. And I am probably a little bit smug. I wasn't smug after the fight because I would have been more smug if it was all over in a round. Yeah. So, no, I'll give Jake respect. And, sorry, Jake's mum doesn't like me, but if she can send me a free book.
Adam Catterall offered a candid take on the Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, highlighting the challenges modern boxing faces when popularity and celebrity start to influence matchups. He argued that Paul's rapid rise in the sport is driven more by social media fame than by technical skill or in-ring experience. Catterall noted that even while holding back, Anthony Joshua demonstrated precise timing, control, and power, landing shots that emphasize a clear gap in ability between the two fighters. This contrast fueled speculation that elements of the fight may have been affected by outside pressures rather than purely athletic competition. Rumors suggested Paul may have tried to manage the pace to reduce risk and maintain appearances, reflecting a larger trend in celebrity boxing where spectacle can take precedence over genuine skill. According to Catterall, this underscores how hype-driven bouts can compromise competitive integrity, shifting focus from strategy, discipline, and traditional boxing values to entertainment and marketability.
Own credibility, I've got to knock you out, but I've got to try and knock you out where I'm not hurting you as much as what I could if I unleashed. Yeah. And with the punch you said that you landed, it's not his best punch,
It's
his
an arm
most
punch,
powerful
mate.
punch, right? Yep. And he's shattered his jaw in 2 places, right? So Anthony Joshua gets his 70 million, whatever it is. But I think he's sitting there thinking, thank God for that. Thank God. On a human level, I've come out, all right, I've sort of, not reputation, but I haven't hurt him as bad as
Mate,
what I could have.
There should be an awful amount of people breathing a massive sigh of relief. Anybody that put that fight together, athletic commissions, like you said.
It wasn't a fight.
No, it wasn't at all. Like you said, it was a prize
Yes.
fight. It was an event. If Anthony damages him, he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of stress to deal with, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bleeding in the side of relief. The team that have put him in there, that have negotiated that for him, but the authorities that put that on and commissioned it as a proper boxing match, I've no doubt.
Does that go on his... Because
yeah, it's a professional boxing
Do you know what? If I was Anthony Joshua, I would be saying, I don't want that on my record. But for the credibility of them putting the fight on, they would have said to him, no, we've got to say this. It's been commissioned. It's going to be a proper fight. And I found it, I love my boxing, but I just find the whole thing really, really unedifying. You said about get followers. You mentioned Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury is nowhere near his level of getting like a British title fight or whatever. Nowhere near. So it's basically he's like...
Beat Jake Paul.
Well, beat Jake Paul. But so
but what I'm saying is that 100. I stand by that, and I think Tommy would admit that. You know what I mean? To become a British champion is a very prestigious thing to do, and I think
Sam Jones gave a frank and unfiltered response to the Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, noting that it was difficult to watch not because of sheer brutality, but due to obvious technical shortcomings. He highlighted that Paul struggled with fundamental boxing skills, including basic defense, proper footwork, and reacting effectively to Joshua's combinations. These repeated mistakes created a noticeable imbalance, emphasizing the gap in experience and ability. Some observers felt certain sequences seemed almost choreographed, as if the action had been subtly moderated to reduce risk for both fighters. While Paul clearly put in considerable training, Jones suggested that the disparity in skill, ring IQ, and the alleged pacing adjustments made the fight feel uneasy for viewers expecting authentic competitive tension. The bout illustrated the challenges of blending celebrity appeal with professional boxing, showing how spectacle can sometimes overshadow genuine skill, and leaving fans questioning the legitimacy of contests where performance and entertainment intersect so clearly.
Anthony Joshua knocking out and breaking Jake Paul's jaw. Just talk to me right now about the fight itself, and then we'll break it down.
Bit of a crap fight, if we're all honest. It was like watching Jaws 2 when all the kids went out on their boats and they were in the middle of the sea, and the shark was just surrounding the boat, just like that's what it was like. It was just like a shark circling its prey, and just like it was like nibbling, and eventually got him. But Jake Paul showed big plums in there, no matter what anybody says about him, because I've seen people say, yeah, he went in there to survive. Yeah, okay, he went in there to survive. He's a guy that's been boxing a couple of years against a unified champion of the world who can really punch. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best fight. It just wasn't the best thing to watch, was it? Like it was just, it weren't great. I just want to see now Tyson Fury against Anthony Joshua. I think at the stages of their careers they're at, AJ and Tyson Fury, we don't need to see interim fights, Andrew. We don't need to see interim fights because they're just potential banana skins. We want to see two of the best heavyweights of this era going at it. And
after the fight, Luke Thomas spoke out critically, questioning the praise Jake Paul received. He stressed that facing a world-class fighter like Anthony Joshua shouldn't be celebrated without careful scrutiny. Thomas argued that the spectacle around the bout often overshadowed the real dangers involved. Some observers speculated that Paul's pre-fight confidence in certain in-ring actions seemed to support rumors that parts of the match were scripted. Thomas cautioned that applauding these types of contests risks blurring the line between genuine competition and entertainment.
Surviving kind of feeds into the story of him being perhaps a little bit better than we sometimes think, although I don't really co-sign on that. Let me make the point. The first point is, I think people are overreacting a little bit. People were suggesting when I got on social media that this was like the biggest farce they'd ever seen in their life, and then this was, how could he fight like this, and this was a disaster, and Joshua should have got him out there earlier. There is probably some evidence to suggest that Joshua, I don't think Joshua was carrying him in the sense of, hey, they coordinated this ahead of time. But was Joshua really stepping on the gas? No, I don't think he was really stepping on the gas. There were times I think he clearly pulled his punches, partly because Jake was squirmy and rotating on the outside. Also in part because I think, as I indicated on Friday, he's watching this guy with pretty bad footwork. He was literally tripping over himself, and he realized he just can't keep this up. So, okay, so there was that. But people were acting like, like, how could this be? How could this have happened? Guys, on Friday's MK, and then before that, earlier in the week on Submission Radio, they asked me on Submission Radio, how do you think he's gonna fight? And I'm like, he's gonna run. And they're like, you don't think he's gonna clinch? I'm like, okay, he'll clinch at times, but then the rest of the time, he's going to run. Like, what did you, like, what other way was this going to go? What other way was this?
Chael Sonnen delivered pointed criticism of the fight, emphasizing that matches like this are far too risky under normal circumstances. He described the bout as feeling less like a true boxing contest and more like a high-stakes struggle for survival, with both physical and reputational dangers running high. Sonnen warned that inexperienced fighters entering the ring with elite professionals put themselves in potentially life-threatening situations. The rumors of scripting combined with these high-risk matchups only amplify the problem. According to Sonnen, mixing celebrity with the sport undermines boxing's integrity while needlessly endangering participants. Analysts also observed that Paul's approach at times appeared unusually cautious, leading some to speculate that portions of the fight may have been choreographed to let Joshua dominate safely while maximizing entertainment. This reportedly aligns with claims that Paul tried to influence the pacing and sequences of the bout to minimize risk and protect his image.
These guys fought. That was not a boxing match. It just wasn't. Jake Paul had a very healthy fear for his life while he was in there, and he was moving as such. He was staying away from him. He was running away. He was trying to get distance. Then he was trying to step in to win this athletic competition, and then he's trying to get out of the way so that he doesn't get hurt again. I mean, he was fighting. Then it turns to where he can't stay away anymore. So now he's got to go the other way. He's got to go forward. So now he's clinched him. Now he's dropping down to his knees. He's going below the waist. He's getting to double leg positions. He was fighting. These guys were Jake was fighting for his survival, and you could so see it. You could see this animal who's been caged and is just trying to make it through, not even kill its prey, just make it through. And it was incredible. It was really incredible. So on the back end, some of the comments that I made or that I had heard were so confusing to me. It was a very good competition. I will tell you, it breaks my heart too that Anthony Joshua can't get him out of there in one round. Dave Portnoy had made a comment before the fight. He said, I like Jake. I wish well for Jake. Of course I'm taking Joshua. And then Portnoy made his point. And he said, because I believe in boxing. This isn't if I'm cheering for Jake or if I think that Joshua's more experienced or better. I believe in boxing. I believe boxing's real. If boxing is an actual sport, if it is an actual sweet science, then of course a guy that's done it 11 times cannot compete with the Olympic champion.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more, and we'll catch you in the next one.